Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for showing up again. Today we're going to make our own simple animation of a guy dancing. So one of the first things you're going to need if you want to program in Python is an IDE, an integrated development environment. What I'm using, so that's this black screen that I have in front of me. It's my integrated development environment. And I'm using one called VS Code or Visual Studio Code. I think VS Code is great. You can do Python, you can do C++, you can do JavaScript, you can do HTML. I've yet to see a programming language that VS Code can't do, so that's why I like it, and it's free. So if you just Google VS Code download, you can go ahead and hop on and download it. And then Python is nice. It's nice to run Python in what's called a virtual environment. I don't know what a virtual environment is, so if someone wants to throw that in the comments, but I just know that that's kind of the best way to run Python. So you're gonna need to set up a virtual environment on your machine. I'm not gonna walk you through how to do that. What I would honestly recommend is ask ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever your favorite large language model is. I'm just gonna do a quick plug for programming. Those models are super awesome if you want to program something. Like, let me tell you, they're so nice. There have been times where I've wanted an app on my computer to do something and it's outside of my skill set, or it's just not worth the time, you know? I like to program for fun. I like to learn how to code, but sometimes I just need something to work right away. And when I need that, I would recommend going to a large language model and saying, hey, this is what I want. This is how I need it to work. Can you make this for me? And Claude is awesome. It's given me some just downloadable files that I can run right away. One was I needed to convert MP3 files to be WAV files. And there's websites that'll do that for you, but usually they have a limit. It's like, 10 per hour or whatever, or you have to pay. And so I said, hey, Claude, I want you to make me something where I can drag and drop MP3 files, convert them into WAV files, and I'll just be good to go. And it did, and it was awesome. So I would highly encourage you to use those large language models, but also remember that programming is an opportunity for us to stretch our brains. It's like a little puzzle. It's a little experiment for us. And so we can use this to our advantage to get smarter and just get better at things. So I wouldn't use those things all the time, 100% of the time, but I would use those things because they're super helpful. And then just to go back to my last video, this, if I'm doing like a \n, or wow, that's it. There we go, \n. This is called an escape sequence, thanks to Immortal X, who threw that in the comments. I always forget what those are called. But let's go ahead and get coding. So the first thing that I want to show you guys how to do is to do a simple print statement. So I want to say print, and this print statement, what it's going to do is it's just going to put something into my terminal down here. It'll put whatever I put inside these parentheses. And if I put nothing in these parentheses, it's just going to print a new line. So now I just have a space right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to print hello world, because that's always what you do. And it went ahead and just said hello world down here in my terminal. And if you ever type clear into your terminal, it'll clear everything for you. And if you press the up arrow key, it'll go up and like get your last commands. So that's pretty nice. Anyway, so I can print things with a print statement. So what if I want to print something a little weird? What if I want to save a variable and print it? I have great news, because you can actually do that. So we're going to go ahead and clear this out. I'm going to fill it in with my var. And then above, so when you're reading Python, or when the computer's reading Python code, it reads from top to bottom, just like we do. And so if I were to put a variable down here, my var equals hello world. Wow. See how there's this yellow squiggly? It's because my computer doesn't know what my var is when I'm telling it to print. And so if I run this code, I'm going to come up with an error. And it says, name my var is not defined. My computer doesn't know what that is because it shows up later down in my program. But if I put it above, if I go ahead and clear out, run my code, hello world, it works great. And so the goal of this video is we're going to make a dancing guy animation. So how can we use this to help us make that animation? Well, we're going to have to make a string variable. That's what this is. It's just any variable with words. And we need it to last multiple lines. So what happens if I just hit enter, or I'm going to do enter, and hello world, I'm Matthew. If I run this, it prints it. It's all there. Hello world, I'm Matthew. But it doesn't do a new line, and that's what I want it to do. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it triple quotes. And so see here I have triple quotes, hello world, I'm Matthew. And because I left those quotes here, it printed them out, but we can do it again. And now we have a multiple line string. And so that's going to be perfect for when we are making our frames for our animation. So let's go ahead and make a frame. These frames can be anything that you want. I'm going to call this frame F1. And I did those triple quotations. And now I need to make a guy. So I like to do parentheses for the head. I'm going to do space, space, a pipe. And then I'm going to do, let's go back, a slash, a pipe. And again, this backslash or forward slash, I always forget which one's what, is an escape sequence. And so that's why it's yellow. And we have to do 2 of them or else it's just going to print. It's going to freak out. So we need to do 2 of them. Enter. And I want another thing of this body. And then I'm going to do another slash and then space and then 2 slashes because it's an escape sequence. And then I'm going to do another slash and then a couple spaces and then 2 slashes. And so let's see what happens when I print this. Print F1. Let's do what I want it to do. Perfect. It prints our guy. And so now what we want to do is an animation is made up of many frames. And this is just going to be 3, but we need to make some more frames to help this guy dance. And one of the best things you could do when you're programming is to just copy and paste a bunch of stuff because there's no reason to write something twice, I think. So our second frame, we're going to stick his arm straight up, or I guess diagonally up, and he's going to do a little windmill. And then in our third frame, he's going to do the same thing, but on the opposite direction. So we're going to delete that. And it's going to look weird and offset because of that double slash, but remember those slashes are going to compress into one. And so let's just print F3 to make sure that it looks like right. Great. And so now we have to print all of them. So let's do print F1, print F2, and print F3. And this is not going to work, but. So I hope you guys see the problem. The problem is I can't just change my terminal. That's the problem. There we go. Problem is it printed all 3 stacked on top of each other. So it printed F1 and then F2 and then F3. So there's a couple tools that we're going to need to avoid this. So the first tool we're going to need is a special escape sequence, and it's \033C, and we're going to say n equals quotes. And when we do this, if I were to say print F1, print F2, what it's going to do is it's going to print F1, and then it's going to clear my entire screen, and then it's going to print F2. So let's see what that looks like. And because it printed, your computer runs so fast, right? It printed F1 and then it cleared the screen immediately and then it printed F2. So all we're gonna see is F2. And so what we're gonna do is up here at the top, I'm gonna import time. And here's something about Python. It's something about all programming really. As Python is built on libraries. And so there's tons and tons of libraries and you can use these libraries to get functions. And so if I was just to use normal Python here on my computer, there's a few functions that I can use. Like I can use the print functions, I can use the input function, I can use one called range that has some built-in for loops, it has built-in if statements. But it's kind of limited. It can only do a few things if I just use the standard Python library. But this time library has something called sleep that we're going to use. And so I'm going to say time.sleep 0.5. And so what this is telling my computer to pause, just totally stop for half a second, and then print F2. And so let's see how this works. Great. And so it's pretty quick. It's only half a second. I'm actually going to add this up here. Let's run it again. Yeah, again, pretty quick. We can make it a little longer, maybe 1 second. But it changes from F1 to F2, and we can see it. I'm doing the arm motions, even though this is just a screen recording. Okay, so how can we print all 3 of these? And because it's going to dance, we want to repeat the motion. So we're going to learn about for loops and while loops really quick. So there's 2 types of loops in Python, 2 main types. I don't think there's any others that I've really used, but there's a while loop, and we could say while true, print hello. And so what we're saying in a while loop is I'm saying while this statement is true, print do something. So it could be print hello, it could be increase a number, it could be run a function, it could be all sorts of things. And so let's just run this and see what happens. And it just prints hello forever, because I said while this is true, and true is always true, and so it's just going to print hello forever and ever. And if you ever get into this, just hit Control-C, and that kills your terminal. And now we can restart. So now let's make it a little more useful. I'm going to say I equals 0. So I is going to just be a variable. I'm going to say while I is less than 4, print hello. And then I'm going to say I plus equals 1. What I'm saying is I want I to now be increased by 1. So it's going to equal itself plus 1 is what plus equals. It really does. So I can run this again, and it prints hello 4 times. And we can even see what's going on by printing I with it. So hello 0, hello 1, hello 2, hello 3. And because if we go down to this 4th time, I is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 is not less than 4, so it breaks out of our while loop. So that's a while loop. Let's see a for loop. For I in range 0 to 4. So what are we doing? I'm creating something called an iterator. So this I variable is just going to iterate through my range 0 to 4. So I'm saying I want I to start at 0 and go all the way to the top of my range. And this range function, it stops before the end. So if I say range 0 to 4, it's going to stop at 3. And then I can tell it to do something. So I'm going to say print hello. And then I want to print my I just to make sure it's going right. Hello 0, hello 1, hello 2, hello 3. Perfect. So we're going to use these loops to make an animation. So we're going to put all of this together now. Okay. So first we're going to start with a for loop for I in range. We want to run this animation, I don't know, let's say 20 times, 0 to 20. And then I want to start by a print clear statement. And remember to put your end equals colon. I'll talk about what that means at the end. And then I want to print my first frame. And then I want to time.sleep. I want to wait. Let's say we wait for 1 second. And then we're going to enter our for loop. And something about Python is really finicky about your indents. Your indents need to be right. If I were to say time.sleep, but I put a tab here, it freaks out, all these red squigglies. And same thing for a loop. I'm telling my computer that something is in my loop by adding a tab. And you can add a single space. I could do space, print. And it'll remember. It'll say, okay, it's indented. But the most common thing to do is a tab. And in fact, if I just hit enter here, it automatically gives me a tab. So what do I want to do? I want to print a clear because I want to clear my first frame. And then I want to print my second frame. And then I want to sleep for just a second. Let's see, how long did I do it for? I'm going to sleep for half a second. And then I'm going to clear. And then I'm going to print my third frame. And then I'm going to wait again just for half a second. And now let's see if that works. Perfect. And again, this video, he's not doing anything crazy. He's just basically doing a windmill with his arms 20 times. But we can use this to do more powerful things. So one of the other videos I want to make soon, the next video coming up actually, is going to be how to make a loading bar. And a loading bar is kind of cool. If you have a terminal-based function, you can add a loading bar so that when someone inputs something, you can say loading, just wait a second, and it's going to finish your load. And that one was pretty simple. He just went ahead and danced a few times. And so now what we can do is we can replace all of this with a while loop. If we want to run this forever, and I mean forever, or until your computer dies, I guess, we do while true, and then all this same stuff. So we can go ahead and hit play up here, and it's just going to run and loop and loop and loop. Well, thanks guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked my little rant about large language models and AI. Feel free to use them. Ask them to help you debug your code. Ask it to be your coding tutor. All of those things. It's super powerful. It's super useful. But don't forget to solve the puzzles yourself. That's what's good for your brain. Thanks for watching. And the next video is going to be how to make a loading bar.